Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be teaching us how to draft and cut this bustier blouse that has an asymmetric hemline and neckline. So if this is something you like, please stay tuned to the end as I show you the step-by-step process. So now I was not filming the horizontal lines that I have marked, which is the shoulder line, chest line, bust point, waistline and the hip line. So I wasn't filming it. So now I've gone ahead to mark the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. Then I ruled a straight line across, as you can see. So I'm using 1 inch for shoulder slope, then 3 inches for the neck width. For now we're still going to alter the neck. So now we're going to get the midpoint of the armhole. You get the midpoint, then you come in by half an inch. Then you go ahead and connect all the points together. You connect it this way, then flip your ruler to the other side and connect it to the chest line, just as you can see. So next up, we are going to be placing half of the bust span, which is your nipple to nipple. You are going to be placing half of it on the bust point line all the way to the hip line, just as you can see. You rule a straight line across. So for the intake on both sides, so I was using 1 inch on both sides. Then I connected the side front first, but I later changed the center front to 0.75. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it, just as you can see. So then I'll go ahead and connect it to the bust point this way. You flip your ruler to the other side and connect the other side as well to the bust point, just as you can see. So next up, I'm going to get the midpoint of the shoulder. So you get the midpoint of the shoulder, then you connect it to the bust point. You rule a straight line, just as you can see. Next up, you are going to be placing quarter of your bust measurement on the chest line, then quarter of your under bust measurement, then plus the intake that you took, then you replace it. Same thing, quarter of your waist measurement plus the intake that you took, you replace it. The same thing, you place your hip measurements plus the intake that you took, you replace it. So just go ahead and connect the points together, just as you can see. Just go ahead and connect the point this way, like this. So now on the waistline, I'm going to be doing snatching of 0.75. So 0.75 means I am snatching the waist by 3 inches. So just place your ruler this way, just as you can see. Then you connect it to the chest line this way. So now we'll snatch the waist. So now we're going to mark the bust dart, which is the difference between the front and back waistline. So this is 1 inch. I'm connecting it to the bust point this way. I want to do shoulder tightening. So this part was already cut out before I discovered that I was not filming. So now you take a scissors, you cut through the shoulder line up to the bust point like this. Then you go by this side, you cut through like this, then you cut the bust dart up to the bust point. You can see what you have. This is what you have. We want to do a shoulder tightening. So then you go ahead and close the bust dart this way. Use your paper tape to hold it down. So if the lines by the side are not equal, please kindly reshape the line. Do you understand? Now let's go to the shoulder. So the space that you have left, you measure it. So whatever you have, you divide it by 2. Dividing it by 2 is 50% shoulder tightening. So you place it on that first part where my pencil was. Then you mark it at the shoulder ending. At the shoulder ending, then you mark down after your 1 inch dart, just to indicate it. So in a case where you have your front and back waistline is between 0.5 to 2 inches, you do 50% shoulder tightening. That is, whatever you have there, you divide it by 2. But if you have 2.5 inches to 3 inches or thereabouts, you do 25% shoulder tightening. So whatever you have there, you divide it by 4. Do you understand? Then you share it on one shoulder and the end of the shoulder. So now we're just going to go ahead and close our shoulder on the first line that I marked. So now use your paper tape to hold it down. So now this paper tape I'm using is very funny. I think I bought the fake one because it's not really holding the paper down properly. So use your paper tape to hold the shoulder line down this way. Then you draw a new shoulder line just to make it visible, just as you can see. Then you connect the new shoulder to the point that will mark outward. Then you connect it to the midpoint of the armhole this way. You can see the bust that is opened. So you place a paper underneath it. Place a paper underneath it this way. Then use your paper tape to like secure that place down, just as you can see. Then you take your ruler to rule a straight line below. You can see, just indicating the bust that line, just as you can see. Now we're going to determine the length of our blouse. So in this case, I'm using 23 inches. So you can determine the length of the blouse you want to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line. So this is our blouse length, just as you can see. So now to do the hemline, the design on the hemline. So on the first dart leg, I marked about 3 inches upward. So I connected it like this to the center front, a little bit to the center front. So I'm just trying to see if I can get a good curve. Do you get? So next I'm going to be folding it. So I'm going to come in there by 1.5 inches. Do you understand? Because I don't want it to reach that point entirely. So I'm going to close it up this way and just try to connect it up to that 1.5 inches. So I'm just looking for a way that I'm not scooping too much. That's why I drew it this way. So now I felt 3 inches was too much, so I ended up using 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and reconnect the line, reshape it up to that 1.5 inward that I marked on the blouse length by the side. Just try to reconnect it this way. So I think it looks better like this. Just blend the lines all together. Just blend the lines. Now let's move to the chest line. So now you want to determine how high you want your chest to be. So at first I marked about 2.5 inches. Just mark. Determine what you want to use. So I'm going to roll a straight line across. So now for the intake on the center front, I used about 0.75, and by the side I used half an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the point to the bust point this way, just as you can see. So I discovered that 2.5 is too much, so I reduced it to 2 inches. So that was that line that I marked. So I'm just going to go ahead and recontour it by 0.5 and 0.75, just as you can see. So you place your tape roll on the dart leg on both sides. So whichever that is more, you replace it on the other side. So the side front is more than the center front. So I place the excess on the center front like this. So you reconnect the line. So we are going to be placing one of the darts, which is 0.5. I'm replacing just one of the darts that I took on the over bust line. Then I'm going to reconnect it to the armhole this way and reshape it to the shoulder. Just blend it in. So now we are going to be connecting that intake on the over bust to the shoulder, to the midpoint of the shoulder that we have. See, just connect it this way on both sides. You can just connect it this way. It's just like a dart like foam. Just connect it this way, like this. So this is what you have. So next up, let's just take note of the shoulder that I want to work with. So I've marked about 3 inches down. So just take note of that. I want to go ahead and draft the back, but we'll still come back to the front. So for the back, I've gone ahead to mark the chest line, the back, the waist length, and the hip line. So the hip line. So I've gone ahead to mark that for the back. So I'm going to go ahead and place the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line, just as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a straight line across. So the neck width I am working with for now is 3 inches and 1 inch for shoulder slope. I'm going to go ahead and connect the point. So get the midpoint of the armhole, go in by half an inch, connect the point and connect it to the chest line with your ruler this way, just as you can see. So now to determine the length, so the length from your waistline to that length that you mark, your blouse length, you mark it for the back. So I had about 7 inches. So I'm just going to roll a straight line. So this is the blouse length for the back, same as the front. So now I'm just trying to reconfirm the measurements. I'm going to be placing quarter of the bust measurement on the chest line, quarter of the waist measurement on the waistline minus 0.5 inches waist snatching, then quarter of your hip measurement on the hip line. Place it on the hip line directly there, just as like you did for the front. So you just go ahead and connect the points. So now you go ahead and connect the point this way. So we are not using a zipper, so it's going to have this eyelet stand. Check it. So now we are going to come to the chest line. I marked about 1.5 inches. Then on the blouse length itself, I marked about 1 inch. So this part, we are going to be cutting it out. So that was going to be the opening at the back of your blouse. So I didn't want the shape to be too straight for the back. So by the side, I came up by half an inch. So since I came up by half an inch for the side, I'm going to go up by half an inch for the front as well, so that I can blend together. So just use your hand to just blend it in. I just don't want it to have this pointy effect. Let the back have a little bit of slope at the back. So that's the reason for this. That's the reason for doing this 0.5 inch on both sides. Now we're going to move to the chest line. So I came below the chest line by 0.75. So I'm just going to be connecting it to this side. That's the where the armhole is. Connect it this way. So now I'm just going to be marking 1.5 inch all the way down. So this is for our eyelet stand. So just roll a straight line across. So I'm just going to be using my marker to indicate it. Remember, for the front, we noted 3 inches down for the shoulder. So I'm going to be marking 3 inches for the back this way. Then for the neck depth, I marked about 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So I'm just going to be doing a keyhole neckline for the back. So now I'm just going to mark 1 inch below the neck depth this way. So I'm just going to be connecting it this way. Just use your ruler and connect it this way. You can see the line I connected it to. See that spacing that is there, divide it by 2. The reason for dividing it by 2 is that so that it doesn't fold at the back. So you are going to be cutting one part out. So that part I marked X, you'll be cutting it out. It's just eliminating excess. The neckline of the back has been altered. So you are just going to use 2 straight lines, slanted line like this. This as you can see. So on both sides, you just mark maybe 0.25 on both sides. So this is for tightening of the yoke at the back. So now to just make your back pattern to have another channel, you can just divide the waistline by 2. Just see what you have there, just to have like maybe 2 pieces for the back. So just divide it by 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and label it. I'm going to move to the front, just as you can see. So I'm just going to be folding the over bust like this, just to make sure that when I fold it in, all lines are equal before I cut, so I can see that everything is good at that point. So next up, we're going to go ahead and cut. Now carefully go ahead and cut out your pattern. So I've cut out the front yoke. That's why I kept it outside, because we're still going to do a little bit of 1 or 2 on that. So just carefully cut out your pattern this way, just as you can see. So you go ahead and cut out the back as well. So just carefully cut it out, just this way. So you cut the, so remember I said you are cutting one part, so I'm already cutting the down part. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut one part that I stated. So now that part has been eliminated. So now we're going to be closing up this that line that I mark. You close the 2 pieces up, the lines that you mark, you close it in form of that. Then use your paper tape to hold it down. This is so that this yoke will not be gaping. So when the neckline is altered, you need to do tightening. So that's the reason for this. So you go ahead and take your ruler to reshape. You reshape it if the lines are not equal. So now you go ahead and cut. Just cut that excess out. So this is what we have for the back yoke. So now let's move to the front yoke. Remember that point I marked as 3, which is the shoulder. So now we're just going to be cutting that lines out. Is it that you fold it up or you cut it out this way? So I'm just going to go ahead and carefully cut. So now I'm just going to be placing both sides together. So I've eliminated that intake that would soak. So then you just use your paper tape to hold it down this way, just as you can see. Just carefully place it side by side. Then use your paper tape to hold it down. So then I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the excess. So this is the yoke for the front. So I'm still indicating that 3 inches for the shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead and take a new pattern paper. So now this pattern paper is on fold. This is so that we can cut a full front. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my pencil to just trace it out. Just trace it out. You can use your ruler. And also make sure to indicate that 3 inches. Make sure to indicate it is very important. So I've indicated it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. The reason for this is because of the design around the neckline. So now I'm indicating the 3 inches again. So I'm just going to use my scissors to just notch that 3 inches. So this is the full front, just as you can see. So I'm just going to rule a straight line all the way down. That's for one side of it. So the other parts, which looks this way, like it's a little bit curved, so I'm just going to use my ruler to connect it to that point, just as you can see. So this is what we have. But now this neckline has been altered. So for it not to give, do a little bit of tightening. So you can see I wrote 2 lines. On both sides I marked about 0.25. So on these other parts too, I did the same thing. Tightening is important so that your neckline doesn't gape. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fold it up. You close it up like a dart. You do the same for the other side as well. Then you use your paper tape to hold it down. So you go ahead and reconnect the lines. Yes, you go ahead and reconnect the lines because the lines are not going to be straight again. So just go ahead and reconnect it this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this part out. So this is one part of the yoke. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold the other part of the yoke like this. So you use your paper tape to hold it. Then I'm just going to go ahead and reconnect the lines, just as you can see. Then now I'm just going to go ahead and cut. So now we'll eliminate excesses. So our neckline is not going to gape, the shoulder too is not going to gape. So I'm just going to go ahead and label it yoke for the front. So now for the bust dart. So now we're just going to be closing up the bust dart. So I'm just splitting that place open. Then I'll close it up this way. Then I'll use my paper tape to hold it down. So guys, this is what we have for the front panel and the back panel. This is for the front. So guys, if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. So this is what our pattern looks like. So I'm just going to be placing the yoke for the front and also be placing the back as well.